What's up, Desktoppers? Welcome back to another episode of Bodybuilding University with myself, Xavier Wills, Nathan Asha, Marvin Fitzwater, and Brett Wilkin. Boys, it feels like it's been ages. It's only sort of last week, but it was like we recorded earlier in the week. But what's been going on? What have you been doing, Nathan? I know you just got back from Abu Dhabi. How's the trip and what's been going on there?
Just traveling, bro. Obviously with Team Oxygen, getting shit together, seeing the new facility. I had a few meetings to go on there. Piece of Bada and Adel, and then obviously speaking regards to the buy show. Got a couple of sessions in. That was it really, bro. Talk about what's the plan going forward for me for this year, and then just fucking live the normal, normal moderate lifestyle.
Yeah. What's Abu Dhabi like? Because like I've never been. I've only sort of like seen a little bit and heard a little bit. But obviously being over there, everyone sort of knows a bit more what it's like. But what's it like, I suppose, just lifestyle wise and gym wise?
It's just like it's the more quieter part of like Dubai. Abu Dhabi is the capital, but it's the more relaxed part. So for me, I'd rather live in Abu Dhabi and then just like, because everyone's got a driver. You just get a driver to fucking Dubai. So it takes an hour, so then you can go party and live the Dubai lifestyle. But if you're into training and stuff, then Dubai and Abu Dhabi is good. But for me, Abu Dhabi keeps you more centered because the nightlife isn't as busy there. The gyms are mainly, the gyms are mainly men only. So you're not going there, you're not fucking around with chicks, you're not asking around there. People are there to train, to get on with the shit. And then, you have your weekends, you can go to the beach with your missus or your girlfriend or whatever, and just chill on the beach. So it's got a lot there, but it's just not as lively because it's more guys from there who actually live there. Like a lot of Muslim lads and girls and families live in Abu Dhabi, but then Dubai is more touristy, which is like Dubai is like the fucking the Middle East version of fucking Vegas. It never sleeps. There's always a brunch on every day. There's always a party every night. And you can get sucked into that world very, very quick and very easy. And then obviously, your bank account suffers. So you just go to Abu Dhabi and it's a lot more relaxed and peaceful,
Yeah. The people I know like that have moved to Dubai have always been like sort of younger people that like generally are into like the fitness industry and stuff like that. They go there PT and sort of live a pretty good lifestyle. And it seems like that's sort of the place to go, at least for young.
They're all broke. Bro, they're all broke. Listen,
what?
all these social media fucking, what they call influencers, all banging on about how to train and about clients. They're all fucking broke, mate. They're all living the Dubai lifestyle. Fucking 3 or 4 of them probably in an apartment, and they're all on their ass. They're all fucking broke because they're all over there. They're all caught up in the whirlwind of being millionaires when they haven't got a penny. Like a lot of girls who are over there can party for free. Because there's apps over there you can download. So all these girls you see, I'm living the Dubai lifestyle. There's an app you can download, like VIP apps, and you just put your name on there, and you say yes, and you do like fucking 4 or 5 videos. You know what I mean? And then you're in the club for free, or you get a free meal, or you get free bottles. But they're all fucking broke, mate. Don't be surprised that they've all got money because they can't afford it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Because a lot of the PTs who are actually personal trainers there. Wages are shit, lad. If you're working for a company, the wages are fucking garbage. If you're online coaching and you got your coaching business, maybe a bit different. But it's fucking a lot of PTs out there that are fucking on their ass and they're getting caught up in these multi-millionaire lifestyles. And when they come home, mate, they haven't got a fucking penny. Not one of them got a penny. They're driving around in fucking Ferraris because any fucking Tom, Dick and Harry can hire a Ferrari. As long as you're a bank card, you can hire a Ferrari, a Bentley, a Lamborghini. You can hire them maybe fucking a few £1,000 a month.
Yeah, sure. I've never been out there and experienced it, but yeah, it's interesting, man. What do you say, Brett?
It sounds like Miami. Miami's like just a little bit of a newer Miami.
It's weird, the concept of like I know of a guy back in Perth that I know through other people, and people were saying like that knew him like really well, that he was just constantly broke, had no money, but all he posts is like him staying in hotels and all that sort of shit, and like next to cars and all that stuff. And it's like everyone that I knew him like really well was like, he actually hasn't got any money. Like he lives at home with his mum, all that sort of stuff. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. It's a weird concept to me, just to try to make yourself look like you're doing well and you're really doing shit house, you know?
So it's like, bro, the Dubai lifestyle. It's not even that, it's Instagram lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Portraying what you haven't got. You wish you've got it, but you haven't. If you've got it, mate, you haven't got a fucking post, have you? You know what I mean? Just keep quiet and do your thing.
Yeah. Brett, what's been happening with you, man? I know obviously you're in prep. You're probably 11 weeks out now, 10 weeks out, something like
that. 10 from Sunday, yeah. So here in a couple days. Just in it, man. This is when the fun starts happening. I like prep, as all of us do, and we can start dialing down. So things are about to really start taking off. So just taking one day at a time right now. It seems like it's a long ways away still, but it'll be here before we know it. Especially the Arnold. What's the Arnold now, Martin? Like 5 weeks, 4 weeks?
3, bro.
3. That's what I mean. Like it's flying. Like, so that's exciting, man. I'm glad that's about to hit. We're all gonna get fucking amped up watching that again, and then it'll be my turn after that. So here we go.
Yeah, man. It's cool as it's awesome having you guys competing, obviously, on the highest level. While doing this podcast, because it's like we all get to sort of, and all the people that listen as well, get to sort of follow the journey on a more personal level as well, just like getting the updates on how you guys are doing during your prep each week, and obviously your YouTube channels as well are doing really well. So I encourage everyone to check those out. But Martin, what's been happening with you, man? I saw I only just saw as we got on the podcast, you put up a post basically about weed in bodybuilding and the benefits and why you use it and stuff like that. Let us know what you said and what the response has been already.
Yeah, man. So I mean, there's a lot new with me, I guess, because I missed last week.
Yeah.
But so I signed with a new supplement company, Rise. They're here in Texas, about 10 miles away from my house.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, it's been super cool. So like one of the big things that they want to help me is grow my social media. And so you saw with that post, we just kind of talked about something a little bit controversial. Nobody really talked about, or hasn't really been talking about, weed openly. But I think probably 80% of bodybuilders smoke weed, I feel like, or a lot of us do. So it was something I wanted to touch on, and it was something that they're cool to share, me sharing about. So that was kind of new. A lot of the other companies that I've been around or with don't really want you to talk about kind of stuff like that. So it was cool, man. They made this video for me. And like I said, I just talked about how it increases my appetite to be able to eat the amount of food that I need to eat. It also helps with pain tolerance, so I smoke before sessions to be able to push myself harder in training sessions. And then also I use it before bed to get better sleep. And the response has been really cool, man. A lot of people are just like, okay, this is cool, man, that you're talking about it. We all do it. And a lot of people are like, this is my favorite pre-workout, this and that. So it's been a cool response, man. And everybody's just kind of, honestly, my Instagram and stuff has been getting a good response from anything that I've posted lately. People have been really cool and been super supportive. So the new followers and everything has been fun, man. My Instagram grew so much over Texas Pro, and it's like I'm still trying to get back to messages and stuff, but it's been cool to support. And now we're just ready to kick it up another notch in 3 weeks here coming up. So
Oh yeah, man, that's awesome. Also I interviewed Andrew Jacked as well, and he mentioned, he said a few things, said basically, he sort of got you everywhere. He did say in the interview that you were more conditioned than him, but he basically said he beat you everywhere else. What do you think about the interview and what went on there?
Yeah, I listened, man. I just giggled. He can say whatever he wants. I'll let the rest of the other people talk for me. I don't need to say anything. But I am disappointed because he's gonna bitch out on the Arnold UK from the way that interview sounded.
Yeah,
he ain't gonna show up. I can promise you now. So I'm just gonna call it how it is. It's gonna be me and James since he can't show up, and Mark Hector. And I guess we'll get a shot at him at the Olympia since he's gonna bitch out. But whatever.
Yeah, it did sound like it was obviously open to missing that Arnold UK, and he said it came down to his visa or something along those lines. And he's like, whatever happens, happens. So
visa for the UK? Bro, we're
Yeah.
a fucking open, we're a fucking open country. As long as you're breathing, you can get in this shithole.
Yeah, I have no idea,
Yeah.
man. That's just
This
what he
is
said. He
all I
said,
gotta say. If you're gonna stand on the Texas Pro stage and talk shit and tell everybody that you weren't even getting ready for this show and the show you're getting ready for, you don't even have a fucking visa for, quit talking shit.
there it is.
Yeah, put it out there. Put it out there.
I'm sure this will get reported somewhere else.
Stay the pot. Stay the pot, you know. We fucking subtitle here. Andrew Jack shit his ass. Shit himself.
Yeah, but obviously, man, like I really hope he is in the Arnold UK now because that will be fun.
No, but do you know what I've seen as well? Know what I've seen? He was talking to who was it? Philly was talking to fucking Ron Harris. Ron was sucking his ass. I like Ron. Ron was sucking his ass. And then even Phil said the other day, listen, you know, you got big boots to fill because you're telling everyone you're 60 or 70% at the fucking, you know, Texas Pro. So George was fucked up there. Phil said himself, now you've got to come in better for the Arnold and then even more better for the Olympia. So obviously, if you're chatting to everyone, yeah, and Phil's going to say how it is. Oh, yeah, you know, if you're saying 60, 70% to beat Martin, then obviously, mate, listen, bring your black ass. I like Andrew, the cool kid. Bring your black ass, get on stage and beat me again. Listen, we can all beat someone once. We can all do it. But to say you beat someone all the time, verify it, bang, keep going there and keep kicking his ass. Then Martin, then you can be like, listen, Martin, shut your little mouth, shush, you got beat. But obviously, if you're coming on, you're talking wet, and then you're shitting out, then you're a pussy, innit? You're a pussy. Simple as that. I wouldn't shit out. Listen, if my black ass is in shape, mate, I go and collect that check. Now, I don't know what Andy does for a living. He just got sponsored. But listen, if I've just won, yeah, and I'm going to get a fucking £40,000 check, or sorry, is it 40,000 now, the Arnold, and Texas Pro give you 10. Listen, your black ass is going to get a 40,000, and I'm going to laugh at you, like last year when I won Samson. So listen, I'm just going for the paycheck, mate. Easy paycheck. I'm just going for it, taking your money. We sit on here constantly talk about the shows being $10,000 how the money's shit and how it costs us 10 grand to get a show. Well, listen, you're in shape apparently, and two bros and the Arnold are putting on 40 grand. Go and get your 40 grand, and then obviously your sponsor probably gives you 50% profit anyway. So that could be 60 grand, and then being on your sponsor as well gives another 10 grand. There's 70 grand. Don't tell me you're not sure of 70 grand when I know that you are and you'll take 70 grand. Don't talk shit.
Well, I don't think he has a sponsor at the moment because when I interviewed him, he said, I basically asked him about sponsors. I don't know if it was in the interview or after. I think it was in the interview. Yeah. And he said, he doesn't want the sort of to be tied down by a sponsor at the moment. He doesn't want the like commitment of having to travel and go places.
There you go then. Even more reason. Where's your money come from?
Well, he's actually a qualified engineer, but I don't know how much work he takes on now, so I'm not sure.
He's in B&O's 24/7. He's training. You see him on story. I follow him because he's a nice kid. He's a nice fella in that. He comes across like being nice to me all the time. One time when I did buy my son for a bit of a cunt, walking around so off with Matt Jensen and my vibe. I thought you're a twat. Dom was like, "How are you, Dom?" My vibe. I thought it was a cunt. Like walking around his vest up and that. You know, I wouldn't mind. I was off gear, and I fucking he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm massive." But then I smashed his ass on the spinning bike. So fuck him. You know what I mean?
So what happened? So
can we get subtitles on that?
Subtitles? I'll say it again. So we were at the I'll talk in my American voice for you. So we were at the Dubai Muscle Show, and with Revive at the time, and then he was walking around me and Matt Jensen and Dom, and we both on Revive. Dom was kind of licking his ass because he's a big kid. Revive was new. We had a small stand. But even Matt thought he's a bit of a cunt. You know, he's and Matt's fucking Mr. Harmless, mate. Matt won't say nothing about no one. But Matt thought he's a bit of a cunt, walking around like, you know, top off and that, doing fucking the splits. I don't give a flying fuck if he can do it really. But then he was like, yeah, I'm gonna turn pro, I'm gonna win this, I'm gonna win that. Still remember it to this day. And then Revive had this fucking air bike thing, this air bike, and it was the fastest person done it. My black ass obviously won it because I just do. So I just get down, I just beat things, you know what I mean? And then this big, long fucking motherfucker, this CrossFit fella beat me. But I had the bodybuilders on that. I smashed it. Andrew was like, yeah, what did he get? What did he get? And then when he see me score, he wouldn't get on the fucking bike. Like, you fucking pussy. You're walking around big as fuck, but he wouldn't get on it. So I just think he's a bit, he talks the talk, mate, but obviously he's shitting out, isn't he? And Martin just put it on him on the podcast. Martin just put it on him. So if it was me, I'd go the show, beat Martin, and then just fucking do my own YouTube. Yeah, you shit. You know, your white ass got smoked. You know, wow, fucking hell. One of them. But obviously he's scared. He's scared, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's scared, so fuck it.
Yeah, man, that's hilarious. That was probably one of my favorite things ever. That you told the whole story again. That was
yeah. You were cut it and edit it.
Yeah, I feel like when you tell a story and you get really into it, you get more and more British, and it becomes harder to understand.
So I'm fucking British, you soft bastard, aren't I? Fucking from England, you soft twat, aren't I? Fucking British. What did I expect? This is pure 100% British. English, mate. Not American, English.
I love it. That totally threw me off track. But we're talking about weight and bodybuilding, so I don't know how we. I think I just actually segued off it and asked you about the Andrew Jack thing. But Brett and Nathan, I know you don't smoke weed. Brett, what obviously you've sort of mentioned and stuff before. I know you mentioned it when you was on Fuad's podcast and all that sort of stuff. What's your thoughts on it? Because Martin, obviously, on Martin's post, I suppose, at least being open about it as well, because it's not something that guys are typically too open about, but it seems like more and more videos are coming out on YouTube and stuff like this on Instagram where people are sort of being open about it. So what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you got to know where we're at in time now, you know, I mean, especially here in the United States where it's legal and half the countries are decriminalized, whatever. And, you know, you can use it as a tool. You know, we always talked about that. I don't actually personally use it for like pre-workout. That's not my game there. I end up just finding myself counting the reps like too much and getting lost in the set. Like this thing's taking forever, but definitely for recovery, you know, I'm not someone that ever gets munchies from it. So it's very like getting closer to show when you're just anxious all the time. You need to settle down at night. You know, me and Martin have had these conversations. It's a perfect tool for that. It helps you sleep. I know people are going to be like, oh, you know, you're not getting your REM sleep, you know, because marijuana doesn't give you REM sleep. But, you know, how about you're already on a bunch of trend and you're 3%, 4% body fat, you're not going to sleep regardless. So any sleep you're getting with the help from that's going to be beneficial, and just the rest of your body and not being anxious. So I think it can be used as a positive tool. You know, it just matters on the individual on if, you know, they use it correctly or not, or if it just turns into a problem. But it's like, I guess we said it before the camera even started, but like, 80% of bodybuilders are using some kind of THC product. I know that for certain. You know, I've been around it. You know, I've seen everybody. So it's like I think it just needs to be a little bit more open and discussed, because that's the truth of the matter.
Yeah, and we all know, like in 10 years' time, like a post like Martin put up wouldn't create near as much of a stir as it's creating now. So
we'll look at that and laugh. You know, it's kind of like it's kind of how we look at COVID right now. You're like what were we fucking thinking? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it seemed like most sort of sane people were saying the same sort of thing as well during COVID, and it seems like the same sort of people are saying that, like, let's get over it. It's weed. It's not a huge deal. It's not like we're making, like, I don't know, ice legal and stuff, which I don't know. I don't know what the laws are in, I think it's like Oregon. Is there like crazy laws over there where everything's legal or close to everything or something?
It's not legal. It's decriminalized.
Okay.
So instead of you like going to prison for it, it's more of a reform system than like completely punishing you for it. So they tried to implement what they implemented in Denmark. I don't know if you've ever read anything about that, but Denmark did this too. They have red light districts, and then everything is decriminalized. What that does is it just makes people like less try to hide it and be sketchy and do things behind people's backs and end up overdosing and things like that. Oregon had a really, really bad problem with heroin. And when they went to the decriminalization thing, they set up some clinics for people to be able to go do heroin at, to where they wouldn't, or they are overseen, so that if they do overdose, they can be rehabilitated, if you will, I guess. And I don't think it's the most beneficial thing. Like, obviously, it's like telling people, like, yeah, you can do horrible drugs And I think some of these things are very toxic. But at the end of the day, what they saw in Denmark, which I don't know if we'll see it in a country this big, but they started to see just like a degradation, I guess, of drug users, because it doesn't seem as like fun to do something that's like not frowned upon, I guess, if you will. It's just like you see all the bad benefits and not the good one, or like what seems fun in voodoo. So it's like these people that are like doing hardcore party drugs, they're like seeing like, oh, the bad side effects outweigh if we can smoke weed and it's fine now. We can do cocaine and it's fine now. And then they're not trying to do all these other crazy things to substitute it or make up for it because they can get their hands on it easier or whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting because things like steroids and stuff like that are legal in Thailand, but it's not something that's done by the Thai people much at all. So it's, you know, we get all the bodybuilders from Australia going over doing preps over there because it's cheaper and it's legal too. It just makes life easy, and their food, they can pay like $2 and get their meals done, probably $1.50 US prices, and get like, you know, big chicken and rice meals and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty cheap way to live over there. But it just, yeah, it's interesting how something that's legal in one country is less popular in that country than where it's actually illegal. So yeah, it's an interesting point. So but yeah, have you guys, I mean, obviously it varies like state to state in America. Is that sort of like confusing? So if you're traveling somewhere like where weed's legal in one but not in the other, like do you ever go, oh, I can't go to a dispensary here, or I can here, or does that ever get confusing, bro?
Well, you definitely, yeah. I mean, like, you got to be careful because, you know, say you're traveling and you have it on you, right when you get into those other state lines, like, it is an illegal substance, you know? So you can technically, even if you're like, hey, I just came from home, I'm passing through the state, they can still, by law, you know, arrest you for, you know, having it on you or intent to distribute. I don't know, matter on how much you have, but which just gets confusing. But like I said, even like the states, you know, I'm in Florida now and it's legal, or sorry, it's illegal here. But a lot of people say, like, you know, like they've been busted or whatever, and the cops are pretty lenient about it because it's one that, like you said earlier, you know, it's one of those things, and like, you know, in the next 8 to 10 years federally, it's probably going to be legal because it's going to get, you know, the federal government's going to make it legal, which will go over all the states. So it's just kind of a gray area right now, but you don't want to. But you still need to be careful on where you're traveling to, and then always kind of, you know, if you want to look ahead and see which states are. But it's kind of known. You kind of know, you know, we know which states are kind of, for us, political, you know, Democratic and Republican, and that has a lot to do on what if they're legal or not.
Yeah, and it can't be too risky too, because you see Joe Rogan, he's in Texas where it's technically not legal,
Right.
and he's smoking weed on camera on Spotify, which is a thing that, you know, if there's something illegal, they'd probably be like, you know, let's not put that on there. And then he has guests come on there and do it as well. So he's not threatened by it really. So, I mean, I think it's one of those things that's just not, you know, they're not going to really care that much about it in reality.
I think that's because it's decriminalized in Texas, though.
It's decriminalized. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what a small amount is decriminalized. If you have like with weed, if you have concentrates, that's a felony right off the bat. So Texas is interesting, man. Their marijuana rules are really different. So that's the only shitty thing about the states, is like each state can be completely different. Like you can have Colorado that was one of the first to completely legalize recreational, and that like there it's like whatever pretty much when it comes to it. And then you go 2 hours north of Denver to Wyoming, and if you have more than an ounce of weed, like you're going to jail. So like it's just kind of like, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And there's also there's far worse things to worry about, you know, like especially down in Texas with all the, you know, there is an issue right now with fentanyl. You know, fentanyl's coming, you know, through Mexico, and a lot of times it's going through Texas. So, you know, there's just bigger focuses, and that's how it should be, you know, especially a recreational drug like this that really, you know, you don't hear about. You hear the example all the time. You don't hear about a dad getting too high and beating his son or his wife. You hear about a dad getting too drunk and beating his wife and his son, you know? So it's like, what it's going to do is just going to put you on the couch and put you to sleep. So I don't know.
For sure. Definitely. What is like fentanyl? Like I've heard it gets put in other drugs and stuff like that. What exactly is it? Do you know?
It's an
It's just
opioid. It's the strongest opioid one of the strongest opioids on the planet.
Oh fuck! So it gets you high and addicted.
like even like just a little. If you just have a little dash on your finger and you ingest it, like it can kill you.
Yeah,
Real.
the measurement is the same size as a ballpoint pin is enough to kill you. So like the thing is the problem with fentanyl or right now the big thing in America and the overdose epidemic that's happening with it is you can buy fentanyl very, very cheap. I'm not going to say how because I don't need people to try to do that shit on here. But you can get fentanyl very, very cheap, and it costs for a kilo probably costs you $400, and you can take that kilo and you can spread it out over 50 kilos because of how potent the drug is.
So that's why people do it.
And then they can take it and cut it and sell it for what the amount of profit is ungodly psychotic. So they use that instead of buying other drugs like heroin and these things that cost more money for them to be able to distribute. But the problem is if you're not in a lab and you don't have the equipment to weigh fentanyl, which is what you need and what it was designed for was pharmaceutical stuff. If you don't have that equipment, like you're totally crap shooting. You're just guessing like, oh, hopefully these pills that we make don't end up with one of them having too much of a dose in it. And you're just guessing. Like these guys have no fucking clue.
Yeah, that's a dangerous thing, I guess. You got people making it that's why that's an argument for it becoming legal and being able to actually source it legally as well, because then you've got the less risk of stuff being something else than what it's not. So
exactly.
I was talking to this cop. This was a little while back, but he was telling me how they had a bust on fentanyl, huge bust. And he's like, you won't believe how we found it. We got, they obviously have whatever, field agents, spies, whatever. So they knew the deal was going down. They broke into this hotel and the people in the hotel jumped out the window, jumped in a car. So they followed them, pulled them over. They end up finding, they obviously start searching them. They ended up finding it in one of the girls' asses. She stuck it up her ass. She put it in a condom. She put, I think he said 50 pills of fentanyl. So think about pills, like how much that is, enough to kill 1,000 people. You know what I mean? And she put it up her ass. And you can still ingest it. You know what I mean? If that condom would have broke at all or would have seeped out at all, she would have been dead. She literally stuck it inside of her. And so they had to get it out of her and she lived. But that was insane.
Fuck. That's insane. But I heard a story back in the day. This could be total bullshit as well, but on bodybuilding.com on the forums, someone was saying about you put testosterone in your ass or something on one of the things, and the guy apparently came back and said, I put he had the ampoules and he's putting them actually into his ass.
Oh my god. What? Fuck,
and then that happened, and then apparently he just never wrote back, and everyone's like, did this guy die or what? And he used to post on there regularly. So
he just liked that. That's what he did.
Yeah. He'll always feel all right. But there was something about I think he said something about one of them breaking, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? All these comments below, and then he said, well, I put him in my ass. So
the fuck.
Yeah, pretty messed up. Anyway, now I ruined that. Let's move on and discuss some listener questions, because I've got a whole bunch of them. These are all from last week. I was going to post another question thing, but we have tons, and there's some pretty good ones as well. So we'll try to do as many as we can, as quick as we can. So this is from Dalton Jackson. Says, thoughts on abandoning squats because of disc issues, like Yates did back in the day. I get a great workout in the hack and leg press, but I feel like I might be missing out on some gains. So I'll go to you first, Brett. What's your thoughts on skipping squats completely?
Oh, abandoning. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you said banded. I was like, okay. Yeah, no, I don't think there's any movement that's, and these guys are going to agree as well. So we can just answer it here, but there's no certain movement that you have to be married to. It's not like you can't grow your legs without squats. So if you're unable to perform, then you can, adapt, find different ways. There's enough, especially in nowadays and age, there's enough equipment out there that you can still load, the quadricep through stretching, things like that. and finding alternatives to it. There's squat machines, there's everything. So you don't never need to be married to a certain movement. You can still grow legs without squats. Many people have.
Yeah. You guys agree, Nathan, Martin?
Yeah, I agree.
100%. I mean, in that question, he's answering it for you. He's telling you that he's doing hack squats. He's doing a variation of squat. It's just maybe not a barbell squat, but if that's causing you pain, then it's not worth it. So
yeah, exactly. All right, next question is from Kyle. It says, now that we know Bob is indeed still the Athletes Rep, have any of you guys reached out to him with any questions, comments, ideas, etc.? So I'll go to you first, Nathan. Have you?
No, bro. I speak to Bob probably once a fortnight or something anyway. Just as a little friend catch up. I don't talk about bodybuilding, just how's life and what's going on really in regards to questions. I don't really give a fuck about fucking. You compete, don't you? You compete to compete. So if people want to moan and stuff, then you can go to them and moan. But for me, you just crack on and do with it. So if I've got something to say, I'll just say it online and do my own thing. But for me, I just speak to him fortnightly. He seems okay to me, mate.
Yeah, sure. Martin, have you?
no.
Brett?
I haven't reached out, but now I'm kind of interested to see. I would just ask him how many people reached out about that whole Arnold thing with the figure division being taken out, and if people actually, if there was an uprising about it, there was a lot of tension on it. People were wanting to rebel. Like, how many people actually reached out to him and that if anything came from it? So I would be interested, and that might be something I ask him.
Yeah.
I think manager Matt said, didn't he, on Jay's podcast, on it yesterday or something, in regards to he stopped it for financial reasons. He said, didn't he? Apparently, it was making no money. He said he bought three men and 3 women, so it's equal opportunities. This is what manager Matt said anyway, and obviously that them shows don't make him no money. Because obviously it's a business, we understand that, and everyone wants to be in the Arnold, but same with the 2-1-2, no one's paying for them divisions, so he's had a loss or something apparently. And I watched it on Nick Chickeri's before we come on a podcast, and that's the argument they're saying. Financially, there's no gain on it, and obviously, if they were to release the numbers, then you could say, I think people would accept it. I think, saying it's different because everyone can talk a good story, but I think if they release the numbers on people who actually went to see it, then I don't think people would be so phased on it. It is out of order. People do want to be an Arnold's champ, but I don't think Bob would even have a say in that, would he? Really, because I think Arnold's champ probably wants to fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't really have too much of a, anything to answer for, really, Arnold. Like, what's Bob going to do? Message Arnold and say, or, call Arnold and say, look, Arnold, what's going on? Put the division back in. The athletes want it. He's going to be like, okay, well, who are you to say that? But I think, like, in terms of like a PA move, like, I think they handled it wrong. And that's what people are annoyed about, saying, oh, it's not competitive. Like, if you're a figure athlete, you'd be annoyed.
Yeah, so, no, I wouldn't say it's just money. To be honest, it's money. It's a money thing, right? And I think people would respect that more. Listen, like, look, girls, I'm not making no money, but then this is what I think personally myself. I've started to like women's bodybuilding, right? Don't find them attractive or nothing, but I've started to like it, me physically myself. But why wouldn't this happen then? So if someone like me wants to do their own show and go into the sport themselves, listen, we're not doing the women's bodybuilding, but you're more than welcome to sponsor women's bodybuilding if you were to pay for that event on that time. We'll give you a 45-minute slot if you pay for that and the nighttime show and the prize money, then we'll have it. If it's a money issue, I think that would be a good opportunity for someone like myself or Brett who wants to start doing their own shows and bring things in. Because if someone said to me, look, women's bodybuilding, you want to pay for it, I'd gladly put my hand in my pocket and say, yeah, what's it going to cost me? And I'd obviously that money then would then come out of my pocket, but I'd want, a certain percentage of the tickets. I'd do the show in the expo or something, a certain percentage of the sale that got sold. And I think that would then probably satisfy everyone because you're getting other sponsors in there who are paying for it. And then Arnold isn't losing money.
Yeah, no, it's a good point for sure, because I think there would be people, Jake Wood was obviously has been a massive supporter of women's bodybuilding, so he'd be someone. But I think that the thing is that the Arnold Classic, it's hard to if that Rock show comes along, if there's other shows that come along, it's hard to say, okay, the Arnold Classic is the second biggest show of the year 100%, because if it's missing a whole bunch of 4 or 5 Olympia divisions, it's really not a full complete show. You're missing out on several categories that don't have a second biggest title anymore. So I think it sort of wrecks it from that perspective, and I think it's obviously just upset some athletes. And when the 212 was taken away from it, I think that was sort of a bad move, because you look at how deep the 212 is now. Like the Olympia lineup, the top 20 is going to be crazy in the 212. So obviously we're missing a few guys from it that have sort of switched or want to switch to open, but it's still a really, really, really deep class. So I think the 212 will be exciting at the Arnold. I think more exciting than even it used to be, because I just think there's more talent, I think, especially internationally, that's coming to the 212 as well. So did you guys see that Brian Powers, who's, I don't know what his exact role is with the Arnold Classic now, but he's sort of, I think, running things in terms of the whole thing. He was meant to actually go on RX Muscle, but Lee Priest apparently made a comment, and I think it's just an offhanded joke, because he didn't know if he's married or anything like that, saying something along the lines of, maybe Brian cancelled the figure because his wife got jealous or something like that, and he doesn't know him at all, and that was the reason why Brian Powers didn't want to go on RX Muscle after that, and sort of talk about the whole thing. Brett, I could see you laughing. Did you see this? And
all I saw was Lee's video, and I was dying, bro. Like, he's like, I just wanted to talk to him. I wanted to have a friendly conversation, and I said something like, your wife isn't going to allow you on time or something like that, and he canceled. He got mad. We fucking stirring the pot, man. So that's funny.
Yeah, I think, like, if you tell Lee you're going to do something, then probably you should probably do it, especially if you're having a bit of conflict, because he's going to call you out on it. You know what I mean? So, Martin, did you see it?
I didn't.
It's pretty funny. Nathan, did you see it or no?
No, I've seen clips of it in the gym, but I didn't see it. No.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. That's why I could tell Brett straight away. I'm like, you say that. I'm laughing.
Lee wasn't going to let people not see it.
No. Next question is from Ultimate Personal Training in Cyprus. It says, here's a good one. People, including myself, want to know if on long-term prescribed TRT and up the dose to a 16-week or so cycle, would one just drop down to TRT again without any PCT, or with PCT? He talks a little bit more. He goes on, talks about how he does 2 cycles of 12 weeks a year, and basically, should he go straight back to his TRT dosage after he finishes that cycle, and does he need anything? Would you think he would need anything else? I'll let you go first, Brett.
Well, I wouldn't consider yourself lifelong TRT if you're just running cycles in between.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, that's what bodybuilders do right now. You cruise and then you blast for a show. Then you cruise, then you blast for a show. That's what we all do. So you're pretty much just describing that. So I mean, you don't, if you're a lifelong TRT, then why would you ever do a post cycle? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not trying to go back to natural levels, if you're, you just stated that you're not going to come off TRT, then, there's no point in then trying to bring your natural testosterone back through a full, HCG Clomid cycle. I wouldn't say it's necessary. Just go back down to your what you consider your TRT dosage, and maybe speak to a doctor that will tell you what a real TRT dosage is, and chill there.
I think he said 250 milligrams. I don't know where I put the question. Back to 250.
But is that that's the thing though? That's, you hear that on the internet, like, oh, a TRT dosage is 250. You don't know what your TRT dosage is. That's the purpose of having a doctor clinic that has no test. It's based off your blood work. Some people's TRT dosage is 100 milligrams, some is 125, maybe 200, but like, not just because, fucking Joe from the gym said that, hey, you need to be on TRT 250 a week, 1 shot, and then you run that for 6 or 8 weeks, and then you can blast again. No, that's not true TRT.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, like, everyone's body, like you said, you converts a certain amount to estrogen, converts a certain amount to whatever, and you only absorb so much. So I think, yeah, like you said, it's different from person to person, and that's, I think, the sort of important factor with that. And when he says PCT, he might mean just maybe, like, as he comes off, maybe adding in, not comes off, goes down to a TRT dosage. Do you guys would you ever increase like a Arimidex or add in a Arimidex if you're going down to like a cruise sort of level? I'll go for you, Marty.
No, so I mean, realistically, you have to look at this from the standpoint of like what you're doing, right? So like the reason for a post-cycle therapy and the reason to up your anti-estrogens or take Novadex or take Clomid is to balance your hormone levels after coming off of testosterone, and you're not producing testosterone. So you're trying to drive that system back up, and you're trying to block the testosterone that was in your body that's converting to estrogen now, the exogenous testosterone. You're either trying to block it or kill it with the anti-estrogen slash serum that you're using. So like really you need to know the science of why you're doing these things. And like Brett said, if you're not coming completely off, then there's no reason to turn your system back on, because that's not doing anything for you, because you're going to shut it right back off when you do another shot of TRT. There's no reason really to take the Novadex, because you could take the Novadex if your nipples are sensitive, but the estrogen in your body is slowly going to convert and do what it needs to. You might need an anti-estrogen. This is going to be person dependent. As you come down, maybe the conversion gets really high and your body doesn't do a good job of breaking it down, then maybe you need to take more anti-estrogen. And last but not least, you take HCG again to turn the system back on. The only thing that I think matters in this whole conversation, if you're worried about any of this, is if you're doing TRT, you don't need to worry about that shit. But if you are worried about fertility, then possibly you need to do HCG maybe like twice a year in there for a short period of time to try to get the system turned back on and make sure that the system is working. Other than that, it doesn't matter. And even then, I'm still going to say, like for me, I'm not taking HCG in between. I'll worry about that shit in 5 years when I'm ready to have a kid. I'm ready to sit down and work that system and get that system turned back on in the right way.
Yeah. How do you feel on HCG? Like, because I've heard some people say they get like when they're on cycle, just say like they're having like performance issues. Do you think it helps with that sort of stuff? Because I've heard sort of reports of that.
Well, personally, I've never had that issue, so I have no idea in that sense.
I've heard that so when you take HCG, so if you're doing it right and you come off of testosterone and replace it with HCG and Clomid, so if you're doing a full PCT cycle, the HCG actually keeps you from crashing. Am I getting those crazy Clomid side effects where lethargic, limp dick, everything?
I'll believe that, because when I came off this last time completely, I did Nova, Clomid, and HCG, and my HCG was fake. And I felt like fucking dog shit. Like it was the worst fucking post cycle I've ever had. The Clomid make me want to fucking jump off a bridge. So I mean, I could see that maybe HCG would help with that. But I don't know.
By the time that balances out, and like, what I mean? Like you're losing those effects of the HCG, it's usually 8 weeks anyway. So then most people get back on the cycle. So then like, that's the purpose. That's balance it out and not crash as hard. But it's also obviously turning your nuts on too.
Yeah. Definitely. Like I was on like sort of just a replacement dose, and I'd literally do what that guy did, would basically go on a cycle for a little bit, then go down to a replacement dose for years. Because just for whatever reason, I think it's because when I was natural, I pushed myself in a prep to where I just got really I just pushed myself beyond where I probably should as a natural. And after the comp felt great, and then just 6 months afterwards, I just started crashing, no sex drive whatsoever. Then went to the doctor, and basically they thought something was going to be wrong with me, but then eventually a doctor just prescribed me testosterone. He sort of had no idea, but he was just like, "Oh yeah, we can give that a go." I'm like, all right.
Have you ever seen this before?
Yeah, he had no idea. Honestly, I went in there and I said, "Oh, I think it's called Sustanon 250 or something like that." And he's like, "Oh, how do you spell it?" And I just spelled it out to him, and because that's what I knew people got from pharmacies and all that sort of stuff that got replacement down here. And then he goes, "Oh yeah," and he gave it a quick read about a paragraph, and then he just prescribed it straight away. Unfortunately, though, he ended up moving states, so I couldn't see him again. But it was actually a reasonable price back then. But then they jacked the price up like to about 7-8 times what it actually cost beforehand. But But yeah, so I was doing that for years, and then I came off, and my levels were low naturally. And then when I came off, I did the HCG, the Clomid, and the Nolvadex. And while I was on the HCG, I felt fucking incredible. Like I just felt so happy. Like I had more sex drive and everything than even when I was on cycle. I was like, this is fucking amazing. But then as soon as the Clomid came in, I fucking hated it. It was like, that was the worst shit. Well, I mean, it worked because I bounced back. I got my levels done, and they were around, my free testosterone was around 500 and something or something like that, where beforehand it was like around 50 like when I was 20 years old compared to 26 at 500-ish. But Nathan, have you ever, what do you do in terms of that? Like if you go down to a cruise sort of a dose or a replacement dose or whatever, do you change anything up, in terms of like Nolva, Arimidex, any stuff like that?
I don't cruise, bro. Just come off.
Yeah.
I couldn't be asked with all that shit. I'm just a fucking simple ass run of the mill person, me, mate. I could not be asked coming off. I'm still shagging. I'm still shagging, mate, morning and night. So I don't crash. In the gym, people go, "Oh, I'm crashing." I get down. I don't, mate. I just don't crash. I'm still as strong. My dick's still hard. So I just fucking come off, innit? I have no other reason. I probably done HCG once in my life to try it. Found nothing from it. So I thought, this is fucking pointless. What's the point in fucking taking that? And then I take a Arimidex and stuff pre-show contest, obviously. But when I was younger, I took it because I had bitch tits. And after I got my tits done, my methodology in my stupid head was, I have no reason to take Arimidex no more. I can just eat more. I can eat more.
As long as I don't get gyno, I'm doing whatever I want.
Yeah, so after I got my tits done, I was like, I don't need no more fucking Arimidex. I just take more time. I was like, rather than take a tablet of Arimidex, I take extra oxy. Do you know what I mean? Extra Napolon. So for fuck it, started taking them, and then just kept on doing it. Fuck it, can't get bitch tits no more. So fuck it. But I only really take it, like I said, maybe before contest and that when I'm told to. Obviously, don't know what, as I get older, I might need to, but fertility wise, mate, I fucking seen the size of me fucking son. He's a pure sus baby, mate. Spat him out to the bar fucking 2.5 times a week. You know what I mean? He's a fucking giant. So I have no issues on putting it up there, mate, and fucking splatting kids out. So for me, it's not an issue, like, so I'm fucking fairly sound. Might have more around the world, like, I don't know, I'm not too sure, but
Well, I've seen a few like interviews with Ronnie that he says, and I'm sure Martin, you've seen this. Ronnie says that like every year after the Olympia, he would just go off, just completely cold turkey, and he never had any issues, or he maybe just dealt with it differently, but he would go off and he fucking 8 daughters. You know what I mean? So maybe that's part of it too. I mean, yeah, but you only have daughters that way, but he always stayed that.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. That's what Branch had me do this year. It's what Branch did. It's what Ronnie did. Like, I mean, just like you and I've always talked about, and like most of the people that follow me know, like, there's nothing I hate more than doing a shot. Like, that is the worst part of bodybuilding. No fucking question. I hate doing that. If I could get away with being a monster and not doing that, I totally would, 1000%. But it's part of the job. But so Ronnie felt the same way we did. The second it was done and he won the Olympia, fuck that. I ain't poking myself no more.
For sure.
And don't get me wrong, like, of course there's some kind of drop in performance if, like, say you're off, or you're like, and I'm not even talking about Cloma, just say you're off, you know what I mean? But a lot of this shit, like you said this earlier, Nathan, is when people are like, oh, I'm crashed right now, like I'm so weak, a lot of that shit's just excuses. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whenever you hear this at the gym or hear this from guys, and like they'll do captions where it's like, oh, I'm off, so I'm very weak right now. It's like, no, like you're just telling yourself that, Now, I'm not saying you're gonna be hitting or something, but a lot of people use that as a crutch to just eliminate performance.
Yeah, I think people stop eating. They're not as dedicated when they're off as well. So
exactly. No, I mean, to put that in perspective, man, it's like this year, all the leg training sessions that you guys saw with Brian Dobson, 99% of those were 100% natty. Half of those, my testosterone level was at 80. So like that was just pure grit. Like a lot of those sessions, man. Yeah, there was some times that I felt like, yeah, my testosterone is low and they're fucking me up and this sucks ass. but you just keep going, through it. Like that, Brett's absolutely right. Like half of that is just winning the mental battle. Like it's like you go from being a superhuman to you start feeling like a normal person again. You got to fight and be a superhuman all the time and just make it happen. But I think that there's a huge benefit to coming off completely. Like, I mean, we saw how much progress I made this off season. And like, if you looked at it from the standpoint of like drugs and stuff, I was on drugs half as long as I was last off season.
Yeah, there you go. All right, next question is sorry, just got off it. It's from Lucas. Oh man, he's got a very Russian last name. I don't know if it's Russian or not, actually. So sorry, Lucas, if you're not. Weirdest food combinations while dieting. Do you prefer sweet or savory foods while being on a diet? Brett, what about you? Weird food combinations.
I don't want to say anything too crazy weird, but I do prefer like combining things like sweet and like you just said, sweet and savory. So like I like to put. So one of my favorite meal right now is steak, rice, and pineapple. So having that pineapple there just for a little bit of sweetness, or adding blueberries to something, just probably a little bit more of a sugary taste, I'm sure, from the fructose. But that, whatever combination you have, I have a meal that has almond butter in it. So almond butter with cinnamon, with rice and chicken is really good. That's what I prefer. But just small things that, at least tickle your palate, as you can say, during a prep.
Tickle your palate.
It's just blah,
I like it. What about you, Martin?
I'm actually like a little bit different than Brett. Brett definitely likes some weird food combinations. I'm pretty picky, man, to be honest. I like to eat my protein separate from my carb usually.
You eat the protein first?
Yeah, so I eat my protein first. I'll just do that with like a barbecue sauce or a sugar-free sauce or whatever, like
That's
flavor.
fucking weird, man.
And then I like to eat my carbs alone. So like, especially I like sweet, so I'll do like the cream of rice and like rice cakes and stuff like that a lot of times. But I don't have any like weird combinations. Like I don't put my chicken in my cream of rice or none of that shit. Y'all are weird for doing that shit.
But yeah, I guess like cream of rice, is that just ground up rice, isn't it?
Yeah, rice cereal sometimes it's called, or like baby rice is like sometimes what it's called. But like, yeah, so in America, like the one we have is like there's cream of rice, which is sold at like Walmart and stuff. And then there's like two that are like bodybuilder companies, if you will. There's Rice and Grinds, which Brett is sponsored by, and then there's Flavor Gang, which makes Boggs, which is called Bowl of Gains. And it's the same thing. And they're flavored cream of rices. So like, I don't remember the ones Brett has. It's like coconut and brown sugar and a couple other ones. And then we have like brownie, peaches and cream, birthday cake, and blueberry. And so it's just flavored stuff. So I do those. I really, really like those. I really like rice cakes a ton. I'm a huge rice cake guy. And then regular white rice. Most rice products are my favorite. I switched to all rice about 6 to 8 weeks out from a show. Just digest best for me. In the off season, I really like potatoes, but they just don't do as good when I get lean.
Yeah, for sure. Nathan, do you have like, because in Australia we don't have any of those rice things. Like we've got like things called la rices, which is like a rice pudding sort of thing, but it's not really the same. It's more like just sugar and rice and stuff. Do you have what's it called? Like what's it called again?
Cream of rice.
Yeah, cream of rice. Yeah. Do you have that?
We have it now, bro. A few companies do it, like the Rice and Grimes over here. We have a few companies.
Oh wow.
I tried it actually, and I fucking hated it. It just wasn't satisfying to my stomach. I was still hungry after it. I took like 220 grams. I was like, that's a lot. I was fucking still hungry. I was like, fuck that. I was like, it just done nothing. And it tasted like when I was in jail, that cheap ass porridge, that cheap ass oatmeal you get.
You definitely had plain. It's fucking gross.
It reminded me of being in jail, having slop. I thought, fuck that. I just had Tried had me rice. Tried it once, mate. I've got a tub in the gym, and it's just gonna stay there. It's not my thing, but I'm trying to eat it. To be honest, mate. Right now, I'm doing a few things different on my diet. Like everyone knows, I hate fish, but I'm getting a salmon meal in every day. Got fucking, my cholesterol was fucking through the roof. A few weeks back, so I'm trying to, work around my health a lot more. So I was banging like 3 or 4 steak meals in a day. So took all that out, gone to a little bit of salmon, just a bit of better fats and stuff, and omega-3s and stuff. Just trying to work around my health at the moment, mate, to be a bit more smarter as I'm getting old. Fucking hell. So I've put cream of rice in there. And I'm gonna try, even though I don't like it. I preach to my son, you've got to eat things that makes in that works. So obviously he's vegan, and if I'm trying to make him eat chicken, trying to force him to eat chicken, then obviously it's only right if I eat salmon and cream of rice. So I'm trying to eat it. I don't like it. But
Nathan, try JP's because his is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some good flavors.
Yeah, I'll mess him in a minute and get some. He'll send some back.
Yeah, he's got good ones, bro. Try his. I think you'd like it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like his. He sent me some a while back. He's got some good shit.
Yeah, it's almost like
it's not filling. It just doesn't fill me.
Yeah.
No, but that's sometimes a good thing. You know what I mean? Use it in the off season when you're sick of eating. You can get a lot of carbs in without having to fill up your stomach.
I'm a fat bastard.
You want always full.
I want to have that big Santa Claus belly. Just love it.
So the key to that, Nathan, is you gotta fucking volumize the shit out of it. You make it and then just keep adding water and keep fucking stirring it, dude. The bowl will get like this big.
Yeah, max how much water you use too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I literally resorted to just grinding up my own rice. I just chucked it in a blender and just ground it up, and then just put it with.
A coffee grinder works really good to just blend up jasmine rice.
I remember back when we were living in Denver, Martin was trying to start a company, dude. He bought a professional grinder, and then we went through and he was trying different flavors. He was adding flavoring into this ground up rice, and we were sitting in his house trying different flavors and shit. We never got close though. It was always terrible. We'd be like, "Oh, this isn't bad."
We butchered it, dude. We made so many bowls of cream of rice and threw them away.
He ordered all these flavorings. We probably had 20 different flavorings, and we would just pour it into just rice ground up. That's it. But obviously, on those products, there's more involved. There's fillers and stuff. But we were just doing pure rice because we're we'll just do pure rice and flavoring. And it never worked out.
I couldn't figure it out, bro. We tried like hell though.
it was fun, I guess.
That's cool. It's a cool story. It's cool to look back on that sort of stuff, even in the future and when you got your own business and stuff. And that's how sort of businesses like that start. So I think that's cool. Yeah. All right. Next question is from.
I need to hold on. I need to send you guys a pair.
Yeah, the butcher hooks.
I got my butcher hooks done.
Finally,
I'm gonna send you guys all pairs. So this they're training straps. They're very simple. So all they do is just sit on your wrist here. Martin's used them in the past. I bought the patent. So a guy created these, and they just float on your wrist here, and then you just walk up to the bar of the dumbbell, you just wrap it real quick and you're good. So
that's it.
Everybody's been loving them, man. So I'm doing another round of more. I already made about 150, but I'm gonna probably make another 500 before I launch, and then we're gonna take off here in about four weeks. I got the website about done. So,
is there a little bit of grip on the inside of that, or?
So it has this little leather on the bottom that grips it pretty good, but really it goes all the way around. So how I explain it is it's not such a grip that you can't you can just let go, and just walk around with you actually still are holding it. So you actually get still some, wrist in or some forearm in it, but it's secure that you're not going to drop or anything. So it's more for I wouldn't suggest hey, if you're doing 800-pound or deadlifts, use these. No, they're not for that because you want the cushion and everything. This is for more just everyday training as a bodybuilder, going up to dumbbells, grabbing them real quick, knowing you have a secure grip on everything, especially if you're, in a sweaty area or something. But everyone I've known that's ever used them has loved them. Marty used to have a pair when there was the previous company. And I've just kind of I just did a few different tweaks to them, and a few different colors are coming now, and it should be good. I'm excited.
So is the idea that it will obviously help you pick things up and stuff, and it's easy to grab, but also will it take a bit out of your forearm? So if you did want to train back, would you use those as well?
Oh yeah. No, it's still a strap. It's still a lifting strap. It just kind of combines. So think about it, combines like a Versa grip with like, your traditional more leather, longer straps. It just, you don't have to spend so much time wrapping up. You know what I mean? It's just an oval and it's very simple. And this keeps it in. You just, it just wraps up and goes. So it's just, and then it pretty much just uses your backhand as the stability.
Yeah, that's
I would say it's like a Versa grip, but 10 times better because it doesn't have all the shit on it. Like it doesn't.
What's the price, Brett? What's the price?
It's a quick grip.
What's the price?
I gotta come up. It's only gonna be like 40 to 45. Just because I don't, we don't need to break people's banks on these. Like I think those Versas are already like up to 60 or whatever. But it's more so, you got to think this is more branding too. So I kind of want to just get in people's hands because once they try them, they love them. So I'll give you a pair, Nathan. You just have to send me your address.
Yeah, go on with it.
Oh, that's mad. Awesome. Also, I'm going to be getting some of those desktop bodybuilding hoodies and whatnot done up as well. So I'll get you guys to send me your addresses and I'll get those sent out.
The Martian website almost done too.
What's that?
I said I have my Martian apparel website almost done as well. So it'll be done probably over the weekend.
Do you sell t-shirts now?
Yeah. So this will have everything on there now fully so that it can just be all through the website. And it'll have I'll have 5 t-shirts on there. I'll have 2 different hats. Hopefully, they're working on a prototype for a beanie right now. If I like it, I'll put the beanie on there as well. And we'll do everything pre-order for the first 10 days. And then I'll send everything out. And then seeing how many orders come in, I'll decide how many t-shirts I need to order of each style.
Just do drop shipping, bro. That's right. Just do drop shipping. Send the fucking designs to a company. Yeah. And then
so I will do that eventually, but right now I can make triple the money by doing it myself.
I'll message you in a minute and tell you anyway. I'll show you one. Message you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we've got with YouTube. So once you hit, I think it's 10,000 subs. I don't know if you guys have got this message, but you can basically do like a drop shipping thing through YouTube where your t-shirts and everything will pop up across the bottom of your YouTube videos as well. I think it's called Teespring, or I think it's just called Spring now. But you get some actually really good quality sort of apparel on there as well. Like they've got, I don't know if you guys have this company over there, but it's called AS Color. And a lot of their stuff, their clothing. So there's stores here called Culture Kings, which is when rappers and celebrities and stuff, they all come out to Australia, they all get hooked up and they give them, thousands of dollars worth of clothing. And that's sort of their blank range that they sell. It's basically just all AS Color. So it's nice fitting stuff, good material. And then basically you just decide on what your price is, what you're selling it for, and just say with the printing and the what's name, and just say it's a $19 whatever, top or long sleeve top. Then you go, okay, well, I'm going to charge $35 or $40 or whatever. And then it just tells you your profit there. So every time you sell one, you just get the profit on the product basically. So we can do something like that as well when you guys have shows coming up and basically have sort of almost like a supporter t-shirt, and I can do those designs up and basically, you guys can just take profits from those. People keen?
Anyway, man, I'm down.
Sweet. All right. Let's move on to the next question. We'll ask maybe 1 or 2 more. What is Brett, Martin, and Nathan's favorite form of cardio when prepping for a contest? Do they typically hit a certain heart rate or just an amount of time? So, and then someone commented underneath that as well. Nathan, cardio, you mad? Lol. Nathan, I'll go to you first, man. What sort of cardio do you do? Do you go, okay, I'm going to do half an hour? Like when you do cardio, if you do cardio.
I only ever done cardio with Matt Jensen, bro. No one else done cardio with me. I don't do cardio. Matt has this fucking way of the RPM or BPM or RPM, if it is on the machine, that's between 85 and 90. Basically, that's like a talk to pace. Obviously, you increase the level as you go on. And I kept it between 85 to 90. I still use that technique for my clients, but I don't do cardio. I'm doing cardio now, right now, on the off season again, because obviously my bloods and shit, I'm not training as much. So, I'm doing 20 minutes 3 times a week today, this week. Getting there.
So an
do you like,
hour
though?
total over the whole week.
What
Yeah.
type though? What are you doing?
On a bike, bro.
Bike.
We Cumberland.
Yeah.
We Cumberland, but it's still cardio, bro. I'm on the cardio machine. It's still cardio.
One where you're kicking back, basically, for those who don't know what it
I'm kicking back. I've got an armrest and I've got a fucking Netflix watching it, just sitting there. 20 minutes. BPMs, they're fucking 85 to 90, level 7, just pedaling away. 20 minutes.
What about you, Martin?
I mean, I've done it always, man. I've had preps where I've done 0 cardio like Nathan. I've had preps early on where I did like 2 hours of cardio. Right now, for the Texas Pro, I was at 4 to 5 days a week, almost the entire prep at 20 minutes, walking on a treadmill. I walk on an incline of somewhere between 7 and 12, depending on how my shin splints are and if my ankles are tight. And then I walk at a speed between 2.5 to 3.5 miles per hour. That's pretty much always my cardio. I don't do the stair stepper. I feel like it beats my legs up. I do like a bike. I like a spin bike more than I like any of the other ones because I can kind of change the resistancy as I go. And I felt like that was beneficial for my quads in previous preps before. But realistically, man, now the point of cardio for me is to burn a little bit of fat, heart health, and do as minimal damage to my legs as possible. So I find the treadmill to be best. Going into the Arnold UK, same thing. Right now I'm doing 5 days at 20 minutes. And then probably the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks here coming into it, I'll do 7. And more than anything, that's just for digestive purposes. Make sure I'm getting up, moving in the morning, and just kind of like get things rolling.
Yeah, man, I love just walking outside for my cardio. Like I used to live in Perth, so I was literally on the coast, like the west coast of Australia, and my place, like where I was living for a little bit, maybe like 8-9 months or whatever, I was basically right on the coast. So I was like one house back from the water, and I used to just do coast walks all the time, man. And it was like it's like sort of looks like one of those sort of holiday places pretty much, where it's just like coastline, just looks like beautiful, like good weather a lot of the time and all that sort of stuff. So man, I actually grew to like loving cardio. Like I wanted to actually do more, but just knew it was shit for my physique once I do a certain, too much of it. And also like I've got kids too, so they were like 1 and 2 years old or a little bit younger at the time. So just putting them in the pram, taking them for a walk, like before they go to bed, all that sort of stuff, just was sort of cruisy and easy. So I sort of loved cardio. But Brett, what sort of cardio do you do? And do you do any outside?
I like doing what you just said when I can. Right now it's getting a little bit more structured, but like in the off season stuff, I'll do like 3 or 4 days a week, and I would just do outside walks just to keep it like entertaining, So I take the dog on the walk. Right now I'm doing, and I'm very similar to Martin and Nathan. He doesn't do much, but I need minimal cardio more. Like it doesn't get ever higher than 30 minutes right now. 5 days a week for 20, and that's kind of what it's always been in the last 2-3 shows. But right now I'm doing the treadmill, so just walking at, I believe right now I've worked up to 7, incline at 3.5 speed for 20 to 25 minutes. In the past I did like the recumbent bike, the one at Armbrust. I really enjoyed that one, mainly because it was just like you said, like Nathan said, it was more comfortable. Like I say, you sit there and paddle. But I would bring the intensity on that. I would try to get over, get your heart rate above 110 and things like that. Yeah. But now it's just we train so hard, and we obviously our metabolisms are so high that we don't want to do too much. What I learned a lesson when I did my first 212 show, I did a lot of Stairmaster, and I felt like I was shredded or whatever, but I had to eat away muscle there at the end, and a lot of that muscle was legs. I think it was a lot from the Stairmaster. So I try to stay away from Stairmaster for myself or even for clients when they're in shape and ready. You know what I mean? If you need to get them in shape, then definitely use the Stairmaster, and because you just need to make sure conditioning comes before shape or size or anything like that. But if you have an option, I would opt for either a bike or, like I said, a walking on a treadmill at an incline at a constant speed.
Yeah, sure. I like it. We'll ask one more question. This is from Gym Guy GLB. Have you ever been on a budget when growing? If so, what foods were your go-to grow foods? I think he means, and are still affordable. Did you cut things like way out for Whole Foods? So I go to you first, Nathan. Have you ever been bulking on a budget?
Yeah, for a short while. I'm not the biggest protein drinker. But you know, I couldn't afford steak at the time, like good decent steak. So I would use like that cheap frying steak type thing. You know, it was fucking red meat in a way. I would thought about it. Obviously, you couldn't eat the good stuff. I put a lot of tuna in, because obviously you can get, you know, a can of tuna for $1 over here. So I was just fucking blending that up and just drinking that really. Because budget, bro, budget. So
Can of what? What was it?
Tuna,
Tuna.
tuna,
Orange
tuna,
juice.
Diet Coke, oats, and egg. Just drinking that because it was just cheap, affordable, and efficient. You know, that was it. But obviously, as you know, that was only for a short while. I'd just been released from jail, so I had no dough, no money. I was on my backside. But I wouldn't recommend it. People message me. I messaged last time I followed the podcast. People messaged me and they tried it. They were sorry, you know, but I wouldn't recommend to try. Wouldn't recommend to try. It was fucking horrible. But you know, I think if you want something, you know, you'll do anything to achieve it. So, you know, if it's on a budget, you can do it, man. Like it's doable. Like at one time, I was doing, you know, like frozen chicken, the cheap shit that was pumped with a load of salt and a load of water. But I got in shape. I couldn't afford the fresh stuff, so I had to make do, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Brett, have you ever?
Not so much budget stuff, just because, you know, financially, when I started bodybuilding, you know, I was later and I set myself up, but, you know, I worked a lot, and I even worked a lot while bodybuilding to begin with, you know, I still do, but, you know, the one thing I did do, and this is kind of because I enjoyed it. And, you know, one thing I do is I go deer hunting every year. And so deer is very good, you know, lean meat, very high in protein, venison it's called. And what I would do is I would go, you know, we would harvest the deers. It's always in the winter, or the deer, sorry, not deers. And we'd harvest them in the winter. And then I would bring all the meat back. I would grind it up, and it's still too lean that you can eat it on your own. That's really gamey. And so what I would do is I would just buy a shit ton of hamburger, and then I would mix it. So I would do half and half. I would do, you know, like 5 pounds of venison, 5 pounds of beef. So I saved a lot of money that way, because you know, I've always eaten steak or ground beef on my meal plans. But what I would do is I just use the deer that we shot, you know, for game, and then I would just mix it and then use that on my diet. And so I always enjoyed that, because then you felt more of a man too. You know, you're like, I killed that right there. So
I was watching I was watching a show on Netflix, and I can't remember what it's called exactly. It's like, I think it's called Meat Eater, and it's basically,
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. I find like the main guy like pretty corny on there. Like with the whole intro, he's like, "I hunt to live, and I live to hunt." It's just like,
it's true, man. He's amazing. Have you seen Joe Rogan on it yet? Joe Rogan goes on there sometimes.
Oh, for real? No, I haven't. I've only literally watched probably 5 episodes.
Dude, what they do is incredible. They'll go up and on 2-week long ventures and like kill this fucking elk back over 3 mountains, and then they'll cut it all up, put it all in their backpacks, and hike all the way back. They're insane, dude. And like everything he does it's true. You know, he goes back and he uses every piece of the animal of the harvest, and that's a really cool show. And he's wrote a lot of good books too.
Yeah, for sure. I remember the first few episodes, like he was really fucking up a lot. He's like missing a lot of shots, like at the start. I'm like, is this guy legit or what? And then he just seems to get a lot better. But it was crazy, man. I was watching the one with all the, I don't know if they were mountain goats or what they were. Like these fucking goats are on the side of cliffs that it doesn't look right. These goats are just standing on these little ledges. I'm like, how the fuck do I get down? It just looks crazy. And they're so far away. They're like on, you know, there's a massive like cliff falling down. They were going to shoot one of them, but it's like, fuck, I don't even know if we'd be able to get the actual goat if we shot it. So they just sort of just had the shot, but just left it because they're like, well, it's just probably going to die down there somewhere. But yeah, crazy shot. I don't even know how we got onto that. But oh yeah, you about your hunting and stuff. But yeah, that show is pretty cool. Martin, I don't even know what the question was, but have you ever grown on a budget?
Food. Yeah, so I mean, out of everybody in this group, I'm probably the one that experienced this the most. I started bodybuilding when I was in college. I was broke as a fucking joke. And I really had to make ends meet. This is actually something that I talked about with Rise. We're going to do a YouTube video on bodybuilding on a budget. I don't know if you guys remember, I know Brett does, but Animal Pack used to do these videos, and they would take like $100 and they'd go to the grocery store. They would show you what to buy and how to make the meals. So I'm gonna start that over. We're gonna do some. We're gonna do that for my YouTube channel. I got about 4 of them lined up to do. So follow along so that you can see those. But when I was in college, man, I had 4 roommates. We all pitched in. We bought a Costco membership. I went twice. We went twice a month. I bought like 4 things of frozen chicken. I bought 4 things of cans of tuna. I bought a big ass bag of rice. I had a freezer full of deer meat, just like Brett said, because I'm country as fuck and we go shoot a deer every year. And I bought a fucking half a pallet of canned green beans. And I ate a meal with chicken and rice. I ate a meal with tuna and rice. I ate a meal with fucking deer and rice. And then I would buy a bulk protein bag there at Costco as well. They have like a huge bag of protein that's like 90 servings for like $60. So I would do that as well. And I would have a shake with oats. And that's how I made it work, man. My grocery bill was really cheap. My food tasted like shit. With what I know now, it tasted like shit, but then it was just making it happen, man. I do think I'm actually going to have a really good time, a fun time doing those videos. I think those videos would be a lot of fun to like just really relive it, I guess, if you will, and remember the struggles that it was. That part of bodybuilding was really fun, man. My roommates were all really cool. They helped me cook a lot of my meals and shit. That part of the come up was really fun, man. Being broke as fuck and trying to chase this was a lot of fun. I mean, it's just as fun now, but it's just totally different, you know?
Yeah, it's that. I mean, everyone's intro into bodybuilding is fun as fuck. Like, I remember me and a few mates that I went to school with, we'd go to the gym, then we'd come, we'd have our protein shake, or we'd get like a protein bar or some shit. And then we'd go home and be like, okay, we need protein, carbs, we need some fats too. So I'm like, cool, toasted sandwiches with fuckloads of beef and cheese in them. We're going to have like 8 slices of bread each and fucking 8 tons. You know what I mean? It was like that fun bulking lifestyle. And then we're like, you know, this guy, you know, this Tasmanian bodybuilder, he said, you know, you should dirty bulk. He's like, fuck, well, I'm going to eat 2 pieces every day when I finish my comp. And he's just have all these like, you know, you hear, like we even, I remember I filmed some guy, like I was like 17 and I was trying to get into like, you know, filming bodybuilders and doing like all this sort of stuff. And it might've been 17, 18. I remember going filming this one guy and he had pretty crazy genetics. Could have been a pro easily, but everyone just said he's just too relaxed. But he won some Australian titles and stuff, I think. But we, you know, he finished his workout and we chatted to him for like an hour and 45 minutes and he's meant to be prepping for a comp, like post-workout, and he wasn't getting a meal in, wasn't getting a shake in. And we're just like, maybe we just need to be really relaxed like him. Maybe that's the secret. Cortisol's low, then you can grow. So back then you just overanalyze everything and it's like, I don't know, but it's sort of the fun time of bodybuilding. Because I remember like, even Jay Cutler used to have his email out there. And when I was really young, probably 15, 14, something like that, I remember I emailed him a few times, just basic, stupid ass questions, but no point even asking. I was like, should you drink full cream or light milk? Like, and just stuff like that. And he'd write back, he's like, full cream he's like, light milk will work. And that's all he wrote back. I'm like, Jay Cutler fucking wrote back to me. Like, it was the craziest thing ever. So yeah, I enjoy those times.
So Martin's going to show you guys how to eat on $60 a week, and then he'll tell you to buy the protein that costs $60 for one time. No, that's across the board though. Supplements are crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, man. We were talking about it, and I was like, so realistically, we got to look at this. They made those videos in like 2008 and 10. I was like, so what is the inflation to make it the same as the $100 that they got to use in the grocery store?
It'll be interesting to see how much less.
Yeah.
See how much less you get at the same amount, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
The prices of everything up in America as well in terms of inflation.
Oh, dude, it's insane.
Yeah, same here. It's like there's just things in the shops that I just look at and I'm like, that's 25% more than it was like months ago, you know?
Dude, I go to get a thing of almond butter and it's like $11. It's like $10.50 for almond butter. And that's the cheapest one. It's in
Dude,
fuck, it's
bro.
This
Go see a local
before
crackhead in the
2020
shop.
This before 2020 was $179 a pack. Now it's $317.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's up heaps. And you go, oh, it's only $1 something, but it's like if everything's up that percentage across your whole shop, you're like paying a fuckload more. Is it the same UK, Nathan?
What, sorry, mate?
Is it the same UK inflation?
all your food inflated.
Yeah, it's inflated, but if something's expensive, bro, I just find a local crackhead and send them to the shop to rob it. And I just fucking eat that. I don't give a fuck.
Here's $50. Go give me $100 worth of food.
Bro, listen, $50. Listen, in my country, over here, right? Send the crackhead in, just fucking give him £20. You walk out with the whole fucking trolley of shopping. I don't give a fuck. Times are hard, bro. Bodybuilding doesn't pay. Look, you a video on YouTube, right? Walking around the Walmart, eating the food, putting it back on the shelf. I don't give a flying fuck. These corporations just taking my money. So fuck, I take my money, I'll just take your shopping. If I pay for one shop in 1 week, then ideally it's only fair if I rob one the week after. Because the inflation's that much. So my 2 weeks, my 2 weeks of the month that I'm buying it, it's technically 4 weeks of the month because the inflation's so high. So we'll just rob 2 weeks and pay for 2 weeks. It's the same, right? I'm still paying for it.
It's like
they're robbing
logo.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Same with the petrol, bro. I was selling petrol at my gym for fucking months, and well, gasoline, maybe you want to call it. I was like the local Shell. I was selling out my gym. Everyone's coming to my gym, putting it in the car and shit. I was selling for £1 a litre. I was cheaper than the Shell, the Walmart. I was fucking cheap. Listen,
I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
Yeah, bro, listen. I'll send you a video, put it on there. I was just selling petrol. One young guy was just coming, was just taking it. He drives a lorry to put outside my gym. £1 a litre, bro. I don't give a fuck. If I can make money, I make money.
Would you sell in like liter bottles? Like just give a liter
No,
of bottle?
no, like no, the whole drum, the whole 25 litre drum. Selling up $30. You come to the gym, get your funnel, lift the drum up, put it in your car, and then you drive away.
Would you make them get a membership too?
That's the one thing. You have to be a member.
You have to be a member.
To get the
I love it. That's right. Yeah.
You have to be a member, bro. But listen, the taxi drivers are coming.
Fucking hustler.
Dude,
listen, bro. I don't give up. I'm just a local boy.
You take the hustler out of the game. You can't take the game out of the hustler.
Listen, my whole people that bad, right? My whole like car park was just stunk. It was like pure shiny, where the petrol going all over the floor. It got to a point to where I just went on eBay, Amazon, just bought an electric pump, put it in the car, put in the thing. It's done it for you. Went outside, get my money, fuck off. And queues around the block, bro.
That's fucking hilarious, man.
Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. You know.
I love
I
you.
send you the picture of the fucking drums. I put on. You can't put it on Instagram, obviously. Put it on Snapchat. You know what I mean? Snapchat. Petrol going, any cheap petrol. But now fucking the hustle's being shut down now. The guy isn't doing it no more. Petrol's going too expensive, so it's getting too hard. It's getting too hard, he said. So until next time, watch my Snapchat.
Until I start advertising again.
You'll see it in the gym. People just go in the gym, but they weren't even like, what time? Gym up until, hey mate, any diesel. That's all.
Petrol dealer. Man, that's hilarious. Anyway, guys, we'll wrap this one up. Brett, send me a link to where you can get your wraps. Martin, send me a link to where you can get your clothing and stuff when it goes up, and I'll put it in the description below. And Nathan, send me a link when let us know when you get more petrol, and I can let people know.
I might come over if it's those prices.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be worth moving. All right, boys. So that's it for another episode of Bodybuilding University. We'll be back next week. So for myself, Xavier Wills, Nathan Asha, and Martin Fitzwater, and Brett Wilkin, we are out.